I guess we're here to talk about the game you've all wanted to talk about since we started training camp. So some people even wanted to talk about it last February. Michigan has a lot of good football players. They've got a great coach and a great coaching staff. The combination of the two make them a difficult team to play, as well as playing at their place in a famous stadium. It's going to have a whole bunch of people there. We'll see how we handle the distractions of the crowd and any other distraction that there might be. But we're pretty happy being 3-0 right now. It's too bad that no one understands that we're 3-0 and all they want to do is talk about Michigan.
Michigan's also 3-0.
Michigan was 5-0 last year.
Coach, how are you trying to get your team to focus on playing this year's Michigan team and not tradition or the way helmets and the uniform pass?
I think we continue on the same course that we've had since day one. That it doesn't really matter who we play or where we play them. I mean, we're trying to build a program here and build a team here that it doesn't matter who we play. We're going to go out and compete and do the best we can and play hard till the end of the game and see what happens.
Coach, your first two games you had the triple option, then you had the passer last week. It seems like this week you've got a combination of both there with Chris Young, with Denard Robinson, being able to be a double threat. What challenge do you see there?
Well, I think he's a special football player. I think he is the key to their offense. They're trying to establish a new type of offense, a pro type of offense, but they're good coaches. They understand that he's better in the shotgun. They understand he's better where he can move around and throw it as well as run it. They understand all that, so they've given him the opportunity. Even though they're trying to establish a new type of offense, they've given him the opportunity to do what he does best. I think he's a special football player. I think you don't see many like him ever. And he does some amazing things on the fields that's allowed them to win.
How do you simulate in practice that type of speed at quarterback?
You can't. I mean, it's the same as trying to play the triple option. You practice against it, and it doesn't look anything in practice like it does once you get to the game. It's so much faster. It's so much quicker. He might be the fastest football player I've ever seen in a football uniform. I'm not sure he's a trackster. I don't know what he ran. If he did run track, I don't know that. But he's as fast as any guy I've ever seen on a football field.
4.2.
Is that what they time him in? It doesn't matter what the time in a 40 is. It's how fast the guy plays anyway, and he plays really fast.
Coach, are Brady and Al doing similar scheme-wise things that they did here?
They want to, and you see signs of it, but they're playing to their better players. So they haven't gone totally to a pro-style offense. They're doing a lot of spread concept things so that the quarterback has the ball in his hands.
Rocky, since you and Brady kind of know each other pretty well, is there sort of a thing where you have to hold yourself back to not scheme something special in because he knows you know him, or is this what you normally do?
No, I don't think coaches have much to say about the way the game's going to go, but I mean, we know each other pretty well. I think Al Borges knows our defense better than anybody else in the country because we were assistant coaches together at UCLA, and then we were assistant coaches together here. So we've competed on the practice field multiple times, more so than playing against a guy once or twice every couple of years. I think that gives them an advantage. I think that them understanding our personnel much better, they know our team much, much better than we know their team. Which I think gives them a decided advantage going into the game. Now, I also believe once you get into the game, other than a few adjustments you might make as coaches, most games are won and lost by players. A coach could lose the game by not giving his team a chance to win, but there's never been a coach that's won a game.
Coach, I heard you say the signals are also an issue, that Hoke knows your signals, and you're going to take some steps to change that. How difficult is it to do that for one game like this?
Well, it's really difficult. It's not so difficult on coaches. What it is difficult on players. And they have a hurry up scheme to their offense. And when you want to hurry up and you're signaling the defense and you're signaling signals that are completely different than they've had for the last 2.5 years, there's some thought process that goes into it where they have to process it in order to line up and execute. I mean, I don't know if they. I mean, if I knew the signals and I was up in the press box and I knew the other guy's signals, I would certainly look at them and try to give myself an advantage.
Coach, when Brady left, it's common knowledge, or at least to us, that he text messages players. He didn't talk to many. And will you try to use that as a motivation for your guys, and whether it's true or not about him, leaving this team and going someplace where he thought was better?
No, we're trying to do it the opposite way. I mean, I don't think coaches have anything to do just because he's there and I'm here or whatever. I think Brady took the job that he always wanted. It was a dream job. I feel good for him. I'm glad he got the opportunity. The situation was such that he could not meet with the players. The players weren't around. He had to go take his new job, and I think he did all that he could to express his feelings to our players. I also think our players, once after the initial shock of him leaving, I think our players were happy for him too, because Brady had a great relationship with our players, and they knew that he wanted to be at Michigan, so I think they were happy for him. I don't think there's any vendetta. I don't think there's any bad feelings. Now, I think our team's excited about playing, but I don't think it has anything to do with Coach Hoke. I think they're excited about playing because they're playing a top 25 team in a great big stadium, and there's a whole bunch of interest in it.
Coach, Jake Feely's gotten off to a great start this season. Can you talk about what you've seen with his performance and what he means for the defense?
Well, Jake is a good football player that has a natural reaction to plays. I think he diagnoses plays faster than a lot of people do, which he probably's had to because he's undersized. But he understands our defense. He's quick. He's fast. He reacts to plays really quicker than most, and that allows him to make plays. We play so many guys that everybody. I mean, and we play a type of defense that we're trying to let everybody make plays. Our defensive linemen don't take up blockers so the linebackers can make plays. I mean, everybody in our defense is supposed to make a play. And if you're right in the middle of the defense, the nose guard, the middle linebacker, the free safety, or our Aztec position, those guys should make most of the plays because they can make plays on both sides of the ball.
There's been some buzz about Ronnie Hillman in a Heisman.
Yeah, I keep hearing that. Well, I don't know how any of that works. I don't know if that's a rumor or if that's legit. I don't know how any of that works. I think that he's an outstanding football player. I think he's a key. He's one of the keys to any success we have. If he continues to have a season like he did last year and maybe better, I guess that's legit. But to be honest with you, I don't know how any of that works. I think that it's a great award, but I'm not sure it always goes to the best college football player in the country, because how can you tell? Best college football player in the country might be an offensive lineman, and there's no way he's going to get it. I mean.
Coach, you mentioned that your wide receivers and your quarterback are going to have a big week this week to open it up for Hillman. How crucial is that going to be for Lindley and your receivers to have a better game than they did like last week or the week before? I know you were pleased with them the first week, but the last 2 weeks it seemed like you weren't as pleased.
Well, I actually thought we were inconsistent last week, but I also thought we caught enough passes for enough big gains that it loosened them up, and that's why the running game started going. I don't think, of course, you never play a perfect game. I don't think you have to be perfect any place. They just have to pose a big enough threat that they can't put 9 or 10 guys near the line of scrimmage. And I thought they did that last week. I don't think they did that in the Army game. So that allowed their defense to concentrate more on the run. Obviously, Cal Poly, I thought they played really well. And last week, they did plenty with the tight ends and wide receivers. They did plenty to loosen up the line of scrimmage so Ronnie could have a big day.
Like as a defensive guy, you're always trying to force turnovers. Then you coach a guy like Ronnie who hasn't fumbled in 252 touches or whatever.
He fumbled Saturday. He just got lucky and landed on it.
Is that a mental thing when a guy has such good ball security, or is that something that can be coached?
No, I think that's totally coached. I think ball security is totally coached. I think obviously some players take coaching better than others. I think if they have a big concern for not fumbling, they learn the proper technique that is being coached to them, and they execute the proper technique, so there's less likely being a fumble. You cannot prevent all fumbles. That's impossible. But if a guy learns the right technique and is coached the right technique and takes it to heart, there's less chance that he'll fumble. But good running backs, even the ones that have great ball security, will fumble once in a while.
Coach, how much do you think atmosphere, the big crowd, the big stadium, Michigan will have to play in this game?
Well, I thought our big crowd last week helped us when we were down by 10 in the third quarter. I thought the energy in the stadium really helped us. So I think that was the first time since I've been here that I felt a home field advantage in our own stadium. So obviously I feel that 110,000 people in a stadium is going to give the home team home field advantage in that stadium. But that's what you do when you play away from home. That's what you do when you play on the road. You have to overcome those things. And the really good teams overcome them and win.
Do you have a strategy, a mentality, something you say to the players to maybe inoculate them against that? Tell them it's going to happen, but to keep yourself together, or how do you prevent that from overcoming you too much?
Well, I'm back to from day one since I became the head coach. The whole process mentally has been that it doesn't matter what the situation is. It doesn't matter what the stadium is. It doesn't matter what the weather is. It doesn't matter what the travel problems are. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't matter who we play or what conference they're from. It doesn't make a difference. You line up and play ball.
Coach Jerome Long has had a good start in terms of sacks. I think he's matched what he's had in his whole career. What's been your impression of your defensive line? I think I heard you say you thought they were a little bit behind even with the wide receivers were in their progression.
Yeah, no, I still think that. I think we're still a work in progress now. Now that Jerome's a senior, has been in the system for a while, has played a lot of football, so you expect him to play well. You expect J.J. Telly to play well, too, because he's a senior. I'm not talking about those guys. I think Jerome's playing well. I think J.J.'s playing well. I'm talking more about our redshirt freshmen that are playing a lot, or our true freshmen that are playing a lot. I expect them to get better as it goes, and I don't expect them to be real good right now, but I wish they'd grow up pretty darn fast. The offensive line at Michigan's big and strong and tough and all that kind of stuff, so we got to be able to hold our own at the line of scrimmage to have a chance.
Coach, you mentioned you don't have to be perfect all the time, but what is your margin for error in this game? Do you think there's not much margin for error at all?
I don't know. I never look at it that way. I mean, I don't know if there's I guess I don't understand that question exactly. We go into every game expecting to win, and we go into every game expecting from ourselves to play as hard as we can, as well as we can. Obviously, the better the football team you're playing, there's less margin for error. And I would say Michigan's the best football team we've played so far.
Coach, are you surprised or disappointed at all that as big as this game is, there's a large TV audience that won't be able to watch it from home?
Yeah, that's a little disappointing, but since I'm pretty good at things I don't control, don't worry about. and I don't have any control of that whatsoever, so I don't worry about it. But it's disappointing, sure.
Coach, it was published that you were offered the defense, or you were offered a job with Brady at Michigan. Is that true?
I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, he called me, and he knew that Jim Sturk was going to offer me this job. He called me and said, well, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know. And he said, well, you can come to Michigan if you want. Now, I don't know if that was being offered a job or not. I don't know if it was going to be the same job there or not the same job. But he did say I could come to Michigan if I wanted to.
Did you even consider that?
Sure, I considered that, yeah.
And what went out here? Just the fact to be the head coach again?
No, I think that was least of my motivation. The biggest part of my motivation was we had kids here that had made tremendous progress from where they had started, and I hated to see them start over again. In fact, there's a lot of things about being the head coach I don't like. It's a lot more fun to be an assistant coach, I'll promise you that. I don't have to answer these questions.
Coach, what's the difficulty in being the coordinator and the head coach during the game?
I think there's real problems if you don't trust the guys on the other side of the ball. I think a head coach that is a micromanager cannot do it, and if he tries to do it, he's ruining his football team. I don't know if you know me, but I'm not a micromanager whatsoever. I don't call a play. Andy and I talked before the game ever starts about our philosophy on offense in different situations. Once the game starts, he's in total charge of the offense. Now, I'll decide if we go for it on fourth down or not, but other than that, he runs the offense, and I trust those guys. They're good coaches. They know what they're doing. So it's not near the problem it would be if I wasn't sure about the guys on the other side of the ball.
Do you know what the play is every time?
No, there's times I don't. There's times I'm back there talking to the defense. No, I don't know what the play is every time. The only time I even talk to them is when it's a situation on going for it on fourth down or kicking a field goal, or if we have a trick play or two, they always let me know a play or two beforehand that they're thinking about running the trick play, and is that okay? I mean, that's, there's a lot of times I'm back there talking to the defense when the offense is on the field.
Have you ever been around a head coach that does it like that? That sounds pretty rare.
Oh, I think a lot of head coaches are their own coordinators. It's not as prevalent on defense as it is on offense. There's a lot of head coaches that call the plays on offense. A lot of head coaches that do that.
You're the same way, just on the defensive side.
Yeah, but I think people wonder about it because it's unusual for the defensive guy to do it.